The Rambam discusses today in the halachas of Shabbos about wine for kiddish. When you make kiddish on Friday night, it's a biblical mitzvah to make kiddish, because it says in the Torah, Zachor es yom haShabbos l'kadeshoy. To sanctify the Shabbos, you have to actually sanctify the Shabbos. So when Shabbos starts, which is Friday night, there's a mitzvah for you to say kiddish. Then the Chacham said it should be on a cup of wine. So the question is, the wine that you use, what kind of wine is permissible to use for kiddush? Does it have to be the same wine that we use to bring for sacrifice in the mizbeach, which then the yayin has to be that's not mevoshel, it's not cooked wine. It also has to be wine that has no sweetness to it, just plain a wine. And it has to be wine that was not uncovered, because if wine is uncovered overnight, it becomes disqualified. So he says here that according to the Rambam, he writes, "Ein mekachin ela al hayayin haroy v'nasach hamazbeach." You could only make kiddush on wine that this exact wine you could use to pour on the altar as a sacrifice. Lefichach, therefore, im nis ala roy devash, if there's any sweetener added to the wine, or yisoor, or anything, you're not allowed to make kiddush on it. This is how we paskin in the Ma'ariv. Ma'ariv is like the whole West, the whole Israel and the whole place. There are some that say that, you know what, it doesn't have to be wine. That's what the Rambam writes. V'yesh some people say no, you're allowed to make kiddush because it doesn't have to be wine that's qualified for sacrifice, as long as it has a good smell and it's not cooked and it's not overnight uncovered. But if it's cooked wine, or it has a bad smell or was uncovered overnight, everyone agrees you cannot use it for kiddush. So here the question remains, we know that there's mevoshel wine. And if you bring wine into Chabad, you always want it to always be mevoshel. So basically, according to the Rambam, no one agrees that you can make kiddush on cooked wine. Why? Because once the wine is cooked, it loses its quality of true wine.
Right.
Because it's no more the pure wine. And as you know, you can ask any winemaker, that good wine is not cooked wine. Once it's cooked, it damages the taste, it damages the quality, and it damages the performance of the wine. And it has to be yayin that's good wine. The argument is that could it have a sweetener to it? One opinion says it can't have any sweet added to it, and the second opinion says it could. But both of them agree that it can't be cooked or uncovered or have a bad smell. So how is it that we use mevoshel wine? So that's question number one. Question number two, Rabbi Kiva Eger has a question. If these restrictions is only for Friday night, or also for Shabbos day, why? According to halacha, Shabbos day you don't have to use wine for kiddush. You can use chamar medina. You can use about a cup of vodka. You can use a cup of a shivas regal. You can use a cup of bourbon. It doesn't have to be wine. So these restrictions, and the reason is Rabbi Kiva Eger says, because Shabbos day, Kiddush is not biblical. Because the Torah says to remember Shabbos when it comes in, and to remember Shabbos when it leaves. Kiddush and Havdalah. Shabbos day, it's rabbinic, they said you don't eat anything before you make Kiddush on Shabbos day, but it's not biblical like Friday night. So do the restrictions apply also for Shabbos day? Or no, Shabbos day you can make on any wine cooked or anything. And he remains with a doubt. He doesn't have an answer to it. So again, we go back to the question, how could it be that in Chabad you use mevoshel wine, and I'm sure many people also use mevoshel wine for Kiddush. So I just want to share with you two things and then we'll conclude. The Rebbe himself never used mevoshel wine. He made sure, and not only never mevoshel, never grape juice. Grape juice is not considered wine, and he never used it for kiddush, to the point that when he had in 1977 the massive heart attack, that from 1 to 10 was 10 during Hakafos. So he went, after the heart attack, he walked to the sukkah to make kiddush. So one of the doctors said, since you're having a massive heart attack now, maybe make on grape juice. Nicht gefährlich, it's a sukkah. He says, no, I never made on grape juice kiddush. I'm going to make on non-mevushal wine. And he made kiddush and had another heart attack. And Baruch Hashem, after a month, he was able to come back, another 15 years of leadership. But the point is, it was such a keda, so the Rebbe took care. Why? Because according to the Rambam, if it's mevushal wine, you can't use it for kiddush. So I just want to answer why we hold of it. This is the Rambam's opinion. There is in the Shulchan Aruch brought that you could use any kind of wine for kiddush. And since we have a problem with Chabad, is that when people come to our home, we don't know who's coming with them. Because you don't, first of all, when you invite a family to the home, you don't know if everyone is Jewish. Maybe the boyfriend isn't, maybe the girlfriend isn't, you don't know. And according to halacha, if the wine is moved by a non-Jew after the bottle is opened, you cannot use it. It's forbidden according to Jewish law.
Is it treif or tuma?
It's not treif. It's yayin nesach. It has a rabbinic yayin nesach to it, and it could be biblical.
What's the reason?
Because the Torah says that any wine that's not cooked, that's able to be used on the altar, if someone had in mind and picked up the bottle and moved the wine and had in mind, I'm going to pour it for my idol, and use it for a gift for my idol, it becomes yayin nesach. But that only works with wine that is able to be used as a sacrifice to Hashem. Which wine is able to be used as a sacrifice to Hashem? Wine that's not cooked. Wine that's cooked, you can't use. So since wine that's cooked you can't use for Hashem, so therefore it cannot be disqualified for idols. Because the only wine that could be disqualified is only the wine that's able to be used for Hashem, which is the non-cooked wine. So therefore, in many places where they're not sure who's coming to the house or who's going to be in the Chabad house or who's touching the wine, they make sure to have mevushal so they don't have a problem with yayin nesach, which is biblically a problem, and therefore they rely on the opinions that say that making kiddush on mevushal is good. But if you know for sure that no one that's non-Jewish is going to touch the wine, and your wine is covered constantly, then if you could make a non-mevushal, it's better.